Hi guys, and welcome to this video, which is basically a request that I've been getting from some readers or some viewers rather of my channel concerning the AFUL Performer 8 versus the DUNU SA6MK2 and the SOFTEARS Studio 4 versus the MOONDROP Blessing 3. Before we start, let me just say that first of all, let me just tell you the price. We're talking roughly $359 for the AFUL, $529 for the DUNU, $449 for the Studio 4, and $319 for the Blessing 3. That's the first thing I actually just wanted to get out of the way to establish that there is a big price difference here, more significant here than perhaps, well, no, it ends up being basically the same thing. There's always a $100 plus difference between these two, and as well between these two. The next thing I wanted to mention is that they all have a kind of a neutral-ish type of tuning. There's no emphasis in any particular part of the spectrum, just varying degrees of energy in terms of the mids, upper mids, and treble. But again, nothing too dramatic, nothing that will deem them in any way, in my opinion, V-shaped by any chance. It's all about being silky smooth, all about having flawless mids, and any one of these four has flawless mids. And then it's how those mids are then complemented on either end of the spectrum by the bass and then by the treble. And it's that balance that then just slightly changes between the four of them. Okay. As for the comparisons that were requested in particular between the Studio 4 and the Blessing 3, up to a certain volume level, they are very evenly matched. Okay, there is not going to be that much of an audible difference, and you might think, oh, okay, well then in that case doesn't make sense to spend the extra $120, $130 and buy the Studio 4. No, there is, and you see that there is the reason to upgrade, and I consider the Blessing 3 to the Studio 4 is an upgrade. In songs like From Dusk to Dawn from George Duke, Up and Up from Jeff Ryan, In a Sentimental Mood from Cecile Norby, Twilight from Brian Simpson, or just four songs where very quickly you notice that although the Blessing 3 does any one of these four songs beautifully, it just has that little extra edge there that in my opinion justifies you paying the little extra amount of money. If on the other hand we go on to something like We Are One from Black Coffee, which is a more dynamic song, more EDM, tribal, house, if there, it's okay, it's done nicely, the bass could be a little bit more in terms of quantity, not quality. Over here, I honestly wasn't left wanting more. It's got, the Studio 4 is actually one of those IEMs that the more you listen to it, and maybe perhaps it's just brain burn, but the more you listen to it, the more you get surprised by how good it actually is. And it's just because I think the issue with the Studio 4, which is something that sometimes happens with other IEMs, is it does things so effortlessly that you don't sometimes perceive its full potential, okay, until you are actually listening to it more and actually engaging with it more, and then you start realizing, wow, this actually is a very special IEM. This actually is capable. I'm not saying by that, and I maintain what I said before when I actually reviewed that against the Crystal 6 and the Olivetti, and I had the RSV as well there. I still feel that the RSV is a superior IEM. Okay, for me the RSV is still a superior IEM. What I think has been done here in the Studio 4 is they've learned very valuable lessons in terms of tuning and driver coherence and driver setup from the RSV and applied it in a slightly cheaper package. And that package is also cheaper because they also didn't go in a more elaborate manner in terms of the actual package itself and accessories and so on and so forth. So everything was simplified to the bare minimum, and that meant that the price could be dropped. Okay, but the reality is the Studio 4 has got that edge over the Blessing 3. The mids are flawless, but you just notice that little extra touch of quality on the mids of the Studio 4 that on the Blessing 3, which when you listen by its own, it sounds amazing, but when you listen to it on its own, it's one thing. When you actually compare back to back, even a song like Elephant from Carol Dubach, or or like I mentioned, the Sentimental Mood from Cecile Norby, you notice that there's just that little extra edge of quality, of polish, of class in the Studio 4. tonally, it's for me tonality and timbre, although it's an all-BA set, I feel slightly edges out the Blessing 3. And there were only very few songs, okay, of the Blessing 3 that I said that, okay, I noticed that this is a DD bass, and this DD bass has just got that little extra touch over the Studio 4. And one of those songs was, for example, a little fugue in G minor from Jacques Lesoir Trio, or as well Larry Carlton's Comfort Zone, the live version. But very minimal, very minimal. Now, as I said, it's basically down to you. You know, do you have that extra money? You don't have that extra money? What do you want? In terms of technicalities, the Studio 4 also is superior to the Blessing. Better soundstage, better imaging, better detail retrieval, better resolution. Not huge differences, but again, just enough to justify the upgrade in my opinion. Okay, so that's those two out of the way. With regards to the SA6 and with the Performer 8, well, 6 BAs, 1+7. Again, both of them have absolutely flawless mids. The mids are absolutely flawless. If there is one thing that you will notice is that because the bass quantity there is less than there, on certain occasions it will come across as the mids and the upper mids here being slightly more open, but that's not really the reality. On the other hand, the timbre and the tonality of the SA6, in my opinion, just slightly edges out the AFUL. But while here the difference is more noticeable more times, and so it's very easy for me to justify an upgrade. Okay, very easy. Over here, that difference is tighter. It's not as, you know, not as vast. Where then do you see the differences between the two of them? Well, like I just mentioned, timbre and tonality over here. The bass, this BA bass, and courtesy of the Sonian BAs, is just absolutely flawless. Be it with the bass switch on, which is what I prefer, or with the bass switch off, it's just flawless. It's just got this very nice warm timbre and tonality. It very easily, if you don't know, you will think it's a DD there, which is something which for example, happened very much with the SOFTEARS RSV. This balance that needs to be struck when you're using BAs, between it being technical, detailed, and so on, and then not having that BA timbre is a very fine balance. And over here, there's no such BA timbre. There's nothing. Everything is just very much well matched, well put together, and it sounds like a really good DD with that cleanliness, that detail that you find associated usually with BA units. Actually, touching up on that issue of the BA timbre, or you're noticing the BA tonality, the one that you will notice it the most is on the Blessing 3, and again, not in any way a deal breaker. The rest, the two top ones are definitely the SA6 and the Studio 4, with the Performer 8 just slightly behind. Okay, so as I was saying, bass, I find the bass here to be slightly superior to the bass of the Performer 8. The mids are very evenly matched. Honestly, bass switch on, bass switch off, doesn't really matter, but the mids are very evenly matched. And then the treble, I found the treble here again to be just that little extra more detailed, that little extra more clean than on the Performer 8. Not a huge difference, but it's there. Does that justify then the $140, $150 price difference? In my opinion, it does, and I'll tell you why. Not so much because of the sound, although there is an upgrade in the terms of the sound. It does because of the accessories package that the SA6 brings. If you contemplate that you got a $100 cable basically included in the package, it means in effective terms that this IM actually is not $529 but $429, which brings its price down closer to what the Performer 8 is. So the accessories package that the SA6 brings is already a very solid justification for you upgrading, in my opinion. And then in sound, yes, there are although there is a tighter tolerance between 2 as opposed to the Studio 4 and the Blessing 3, there is still enough, in my opinion, to justify upgrading from Performer 8 to the SA6. If you already own them, yes, a good upgrade will be then the Studio 4 or the SA6. If you don't own them and you're trying to find the best value for your money, the bang for the buck, probably I would have to give that to the Performer 8. Probably that's the one that still has the best ratio of value for money and performance that you are getting. Although any one of them is excellent in that aspect. The one that is the most simplest one in terms of its accessories package and so on and so forth is the Studio 4. Actually, if the Studio 4 had accessories a little bit more on par with what the actual IEM is, it would not be that price. It would probably be in the mid $500. So it would be already on the price of the SA6. And between these two, honestly, between these two, putting price aside, the SA6 is the better IEM. Between these two as well, the Performer 8 is the better hybrid. There's no, in my opinion, there's no contest. You know, however good the Blessing 3 is in terms of its bass and quality wise, not quantity, bass, mids, highs, however very well tuned it is, the Performer 8 has just taken it to another level above. In terms of how the crossover network with its RLC network, you know, taking care of making sure that everything is just spot on frequency wise, the complex ducting system that they used with the tubes having specific lengths to accentuate and potentiate the performance of each one of the drivers. Technically, it has been a very well R&D'd IEM, and it shows. I think the biggest, probably the biggest, I wouldn't say obstacle, but the biggest thing that people have complained about is the price jump over its sibling, the P5, because the P5 is like $219, and you can even have it sometimes at below $200, and that's the biggest problem I think that people have been finding with the P8 is, oh, but it's such a big price increase. Does it justify that price increase? Yes, it does. It does, because the truth here is that the P5 should have been perhaps sold at a higher price. The P5 should have maybe been sold at like $269 to $289, and if it was sold at that price bracket, which would still make it excellent value for money, then the difference between the P8 now wouldn't be as significant, and maybe people wouldn't have created such an obstacle with that issue. Okay, so there you have it, guys. I hope I was able to answer the people that asked me this question. Any one of these four, again, let me just conclude, is an amazing IEM. Any one of these four, okay? Personally, for me, the ones that stand out are more the AFUL, the SA6, and the Studio 4. These ones stand out slightly more than the Blessing. I would opt for these three as opposed to the Blessing. For me, out of all of them, which is my favorite sonically, the SA6, which are the two next best ones, the Performer 8 and the Studio 4, in terms of sound. Value for money, the Performer 8. As a pure hybrid, the Performer 8 is better than the Blessing 3. As a BA set, the SA6 is better than the Studio 4. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little comparison of mine, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright, don't forget, like and subscribe, please. I want to see those likes come up a little bit more. I think I'm not one to blow my horn too much, but I think a little bit more likes on my videos would be deserved. I really try my absolute best to give you guys as much information and as much help as I possibly can. So I would also appreciate it if I got some love back. All right. Anyway, you take care now. Bye bye.